Help support the channel by buying the Terminator 2 Judgment Day 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray at the affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel, and you know, Twitter is an interesting place because you either love it or you hate it. But when it comes to communication on a 140 character scale, you use it. Not as many as before. In fact, Twitter has had a rough year. They've reported almost no increase of users, so they basically capped. Their stock price is dwindling, and they've tried to sell a couple times, and nobody wants to buy them. I mean, nobody wants to buy them. Well, with maybe the exception of this woman right here, Valerie Plame Wilson wants to buy Twitter just so she can simply ban Donald Trump's account. Yeah. She wants to ban his account, as if he wouldn't take it over to @POTUS. Or if that fails, @Flautus. He'll just take over Melania tweeting, and all of a sudden she starts tweeting a whole bunch more nonsense. It'd actually be pretty funny. But it says here, Valerie Plame Wilson's on a mission to get Trump off of Twitter. How? By buying it, of course. Yeah, not gonna lie. When I first read about this story, I legitimately thought that this came from The Onion. I thought to myself, there's no way this is real. There's no way this is real. This woman doesn't exist. She's not going to try to buy Twitter. And then, no, it's true. I'm not kidding you. Well, Wilson, best known for being revealed as a CIA operative because of a leak during the George W. Bush administration. So she's a spook nonetheless. She wants to buy Twitter and she's a spook. Okay. Has started a GoFundMe page to buy a controlling interest in Twitter in order to delete the president's account. The company is currently worth nearly $12 billion, with its shares going around $16. $12 billion it's worth, and its shares are that little? Yee. Saying here on Twitter, oddly enough, well, I guess that's what you would do if you want to buy it, use the platform. Donald Trump has done lots of horrible things on Twitter, from emboldening white supremacists to promoting violence against journalists. His tweets damage the country and put people in harm's way. But threatening actual nuclear war with Korea takes it to a dangerous new level. And of course, she's referring to the whole fire and fury. I mean, I think anyone with half a brain can look at that and see that he was entirely ad-libbing that. And then like looked around the room to kind of like gauge whether or not there was approval, and then wanted to double down on it by going like fire and fury and power. Power unlike the world has ever seen. But he didn't do it in like a movie trailer narrator guy type of voice, which would have been cooler. He did it in his he did it with his arms crossed, like leaned back in his chair, which was like one of those things where I'm going like, dude, your body language is the exact opposite of what you're saying. If you're trying to act like a hard ass president and you want to like, you know, shake your own saber, rattle it at your enemy, you're going to sit there and get up on front of a podium and like slam your fist down and go like, you want the truth? We will unleash upon you a hellfire and fury and power. And that would have been something far more terrifying to little Kimmy Jong-un from North Korea. Instead, you lean back in your chair and you put your hands over your chest like you were hoping you had mommy's blankie. Like, that's not going to work out well. But it says here, her on Twitter, if Twitter executives don't shut down Donald Trump's violence and hate, then it's up to us. #buy Twitter. All right. The goal, $1 billion. That might be a stretch, though. Wilson has raised more than $3,000 since she launched the campaign on August 16th. All right. Now, you can tell, but based on them, you know, pushing this kind of campaign or pushing this in the media, she's going to get more than the $3,000, which might be one of the reasons why it was being talked about today. Is it's a trending campaign on GoFundMe right now, and she's probably like, oh well, if people talk about it, then maybe more people will donate the money. But you're looking to raise $1 billion. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. You would need some George Soros level backers in order to make this thing work. Saying here that the reason why $1 billion is your choice. At the current market rate, that would require over $1 billion, but that's a small price to pay to take away Trump's most powerful megaphone and prevent a horrific nuclear war. And yeah, I can see where she's coming from. But who out there is going to front $1 billion? Putin? China? I mean, someone out there might put up the money just to get him to shut the fuck up. That's entirely possible, true. If they aren't able to meet their goal, the plan is to buy a significant stake in order to push the proposal at the annual stakeholders meeting. That's probably more of a valid approach. is not going to happen probably, but if that's probably more likely of a scenario. Buy enough of a controlling stake to where you're able to come on in there and be like, this needs to happen, and then use your pull, right? But at the same time, who exactly is this ex-CIA spook who was outed during the George W. Bush administration? You know, the same George W. Bush administration that took us to a fucking insane war in Iraq over weapons of mass destruction that never existed, and then moved that to Afghanistan in order to sit there and basically go like, Iraq never happened. You know, like, even at the cost of thousands of American lives. So I'd like to know more about who this person is before I throw down any hard-earned money in order to see if this entire experiment plays out. I'm not going to, but, you know, hey, for sake of information, I'd like to know more about her. Twitter has previously defended its use of the platform. Back in May, CEO Jack Dorsey said it was important for people to hear directly from our leadership. Considering the fact that Sargon Avakad, who has done nothing wrong, has already been banned off his account multiple times and has since forgone Twitter, that was announced today, then really people don't want to hear from your leadership if you are the ones who are dictating what leadership can be heard from. Clearly, equality doesn't matter on Twitter's platform, so why is it that they haven't banned the account? Well, I mean, aside the fact that Jack is a gigantic pussy, who knows? Twitter did not immediately return a request for comment. One analyst estimated that eliminating the president's tweets would wipe out $2 billion of Twitter's market value. Well, that might be the reason right there. $2 billion in market value just for taking out Trump's account. Jesus, that's insane, right? Like, that can't even remotely be accurate. The president is known for going on tweet storms. Wilson described his actions as weaponizing Twitter and pointed to the president's tweet that said that the military was locked and loaded for a response to North Korea. Saying here, military solutions are now fully in place, locked and loaded. Should North Korea act unwisely, hopefully Kim Jong-un will find another path. And again, that's just sabling, you know, saber rattling. That's what I want to use here. This is saber rattling at the enemy to try to get him to back down through a platform that has a 140 character limit. And so if he would have had to use more, he would have been like ... and then the next one ... fire and fury and power and shit. Like, that's what I'm a little bit worried about. Not maybe the best platform. Why not shoot a little Twitter video? Just saying, probably get better engagement if you shoot a video. That's what they tell me every email they send me trying to get me to sign up for their business services. All the while, they won't verify me, so eat it. And then the analyst says here, tweets like this are heard around the world. As he uses the biggest platform to escalate the crisis, this could all too easily spark a military confrontation that goes nuclear. And that apparently is the fear here. That Trump, let's see here, let's take a look at the page. But Trump is so worried about, you know, that he's not worried about nuclear war. Probably he doesn't think it will happen, is what I'm trying to say. And that's definitely something here. But let's take a look here at the fundraiser. All right, so far they've raised nearly $5,000 off the $1 billion goal. And, you know, it says here it's time to shut him down. The bad news is Twitter has ignored growing calls to enforce their community standards and delete Trump's account. The good news is we can make that decision for them. Now, I don't know if Trump's tweets have actually violated the terms of service of Twitter. I know that I've reported legitimate death threats to Twitter, and they're like, you're fine. But I called somebody a cunt and was freaking blacklisted for, you know, banned for 12 hours. And then I got banned again the next day because I called someone a cunt 5 years ago, and that tweet came back to bite me in the ass, which means somebody had found that from back then and reported me. Twitter is a publicly traded company, shares equal power. This GoFundMe will fund the purchase of controlling interest in Twitter. And yeah, basically it's doing all this stuff. And it's, you know, everything else that we've already talked about. So we can see that this is a legitimate thing. I mean, they put time and effort into it, and it's trending right now. So, you know, they're hoping probably to get more money. Will they get $1 billion? The answer to that is no, they won't. They will not get $1 billion off of this thing. There's just no way it's going to happen. People aren't going to come together. There's not that much. We're coming into the Christmas season. No one's going to want to give up a huge amount of money. It would require people like Joss Whedon throwing down millions and millions of dollars, George Soros coming in and throwing down millions and millions of dollars. But if George Soros wanted to come in and take over, he would just come in himself and buy enough up. He's not going to go through an intermediary. All right. Like, we already know what he funds. He's pretty public about that shit. So this situation is in my opinion, a nothing burger. But at the same time, if it comes to fruition, and that's a big if, it will be really fucking funny if it does. Well, gang, that wraps up this video. Be sure to leave your thoughts below in the comments, as I love to read them. Also, if you guys want to support the channel, links below in the video description. We have Patreon, PayPal, Amazon affiliate in the beginning of the video, as well as Bitcoin now. During the apocalypse, anything helps. I greatly appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day. Peace out.